This is for the girls who want it all. And the problem we are facing in this generation is that a lot of people are not thriving in their duty post. They want to be in other people's posts. On the final day, when God comes, will he find you where he kept you? In that you will thrive. You will not thrive living Tobi Naomi's life. You will not thrive living Oyin Brandy's life. You will thrive living your own life. Yeah. So what is it that God has said you should do?
You may like it and admire it, but it may not be the calling for you. So let's also like normalize that. But if it is, like you said, you're gonna have to get that confidence. And why? Who told you you can't?
The Girls is a show created to share the stories and experiences of every girl, every story, and every season. With your host, Tobi Naomi, we explore a variety of topics with our different guests. Through deep conversations, some laughs, and solving your dilemmas, every episode aims to leave you feeling seen, heard, and a little wiser. Let's jump into the show.
Hey you, welcome to For the Girls, a show intentionally curated by the girls for you to listen or watch wherever you're viewing from, but leave feeling a little more heard, seen, and a little bit wiser than you came here. I'm so happy you're here. How are you? What's going on in your world? Are you good? Are you running on empty? Are you running on joy? Wherever you're at right now, I'm so glad that you clicked on this video or on this clip on Spotify. So you picked a very good episode to join today because you are in for a time. We have the one and only, the internet's fave, Pastor Oyin Brandy. I'm so happy, and you guys don't even know. But just for those that don't know, if you've been living under a rock, Pastor Brandy is a dedicated pastor at Lighthouse Church Carlton in Ottawa, a devoted wife and mother of one, the cutest baby ever, let me tell you. She combines her spiritual leadership with the passion for empowering women, and she does it so well. As a seasoned YouTuber with over a decade of experience, she uses her platform to share her faith, inspire others, and create a supportive community. Her primary call is encouraging ladies to come into the fullness of their God-given purpose. Pastor Brandy's heart for God and women drives her ministry, making her a beacon of hope and guidance. And she is here with us today on For the Girls. Guys, I'm so happy. This is for the girls, but this is really for Tobi.
Aww.
And I know Brandy in real life, and we met in a very unconventional way. We'll get into that at some point, but I'm just so happy that you're on here with me.
Thank you, Tobi. Thank you.
And also, we're in Ottawa. We're in her city, so this is.
No.
OTT. Are you recruiting for people to move here?
Move to Ottawa. Why not? Tobi, would you move to Ottawa? Maybe not.
Brandy, do you want me to be honest? You know what? We've only been here for like 6 hours, maybe a little bit over, so we'll decide. I'll let you know. Okay. Now, before we get into it, if the girls are going to take any advice from you and listen to the words, they need to know a little bit about who you are. You know what I mean? Like, it's really hard to trust who you don't know. I gave them a little intro, but some of them may still not know, so we're gonna play a game.
Okay.
Yeah?
Let's do it.
Now, this game, I'm going to ask you some questions, and you just have to answer honestly. Nothing crazy.
Okay.
It may just make you think a little bit.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Yes? Okay,
I'm
let's
ready.
do this. It is the year 2054, and you are opening a time capsule that you buried 30 years ago, so 2024.
Okay.
What 3 items did you put inside to represent your life in your 20s, and what message do you think your younger self was sending to your future?
Wow. That is so good, Tobi.
Thank
That
you.
is so
Thank
good.
you. I'm proud
I
of
think
you.
first of all, maybe a Polaroid picture of my family as it is now. So me, Olu, and Tori.
That's
I'll
good.
put that.
That's
I'll probably put like maybe my SD card with all the videos I've been filming this time.
That's really good.
Put it in there.
And the ones that didn't quite make it to YouTube or
Yes,
Instagram or
everything.
TikTok.
Put it there. Everything from my phone, pictures, everything. Put it there, and maybe like a piece of my journal, something that I've written.
Are you a journal girl?
Not too much, but I do write, especially like scriptures.
Okay,
I write I do write some of those stuff. I'll put it there. Just, you know what? Take that back. I would actually, if I know that I'm keeping it for 30 years from now, I will journal how I feel like as of that time, that what that season represented for me.
Oh, so
that
specific.
I'll be very specific to what
Okay.
that season, when I did write it, represents for me, so that when I see it 30 years down the line, I will see the growth that I've experienced. I will see where I was coming from
really
and where I am now. Does that make sense?
That's so
Yeah.
good. I love that.
You asked a second part to the question.
What message do you think your younger self would be sending to your future?
It'll be to keep holding on to God, keep trusting Him, because ultimately all that we have is God. And although it may not look like it right now,
Yeah.
everything you are doing, Brandy, everything that you have sacrificed, everything that you have given up to walk with God, it will all make sense. It will all make sense.
Why did I feel that
it will all make sense. Yeah.
That's good.
Because it's not easy. It's
We're
not.
gonna talk about it. But let's get into the next question.
All right.
We can't get too deep right now.
Okay.
Okay, you have the chance to collaborate on a creative project with any influencer or artist you admire. So it can be like any creative person, even if it's an actor, anybody. Who would it be? What project would you be working on together? So is it a fashion line, a podcast, a painting? And what message would you want to send through that collab?
Wow.
It can even be a brand too.
Yo, Tobi's deep. What am I here thinking? Okay. I wouldn't necessarily say this person is an influencer, but they are to an extent because they're influencing people to follow the way, the truth, and the life, and that will be Jackie Hill Perry. I think that we will probably work on a conference style thing together. You know that I do Lady in Bloom. Exactly. You know that I do Lady in Bloom, but Lady in Bloom, but let's make it for people already established in their faith.
So different target audience slightly.
Exactly, a slightly different target audience.
that's good.
Yeah, I
That's
think
good.
I would like to collaborate with her on something like that. Yeah.
Jackie, if you're watching this,
Right?
you can reach out.
Right?
You can reach out to Oyin.
Reach out,
You can
Oyin
reach
Brandy,
out to
Instagram, everywhere. Reach out to Tobi as well, anyone.
I will connect you guys. I will connect.
But if we're
That's
thinking
good.
very near,
but that's very near. You don't think
I mean, that's like midterm type thing.
Fair
if we're
enough.
thinking very near, these are people that I've already kind of worked with.
There's a relationship.
There's a relationship, thank you. And that would maybe be like Mazino, and maybe Ezine Zara. Just like a little sit down, just to really hear people's stories.
Yeah.
I think that's what it'll be.
I like that. So there's two answers. Okay, now this one is a little bit more fun.
Okay.
It's not every time.
Okay.
It's not every time.
Not too deep.
So
Let's get it.
adventure weekend getaway. You and your partner, not your partner, your husband,
Right.
actually, are planning a spontaneous weekend getaway to a trendy destination anywhere in the world. Where are you headed, and what unique activity are you guys doing together?
Anywhere in the world.
It just has to be on this earth. It can't be outer space, please.
Okay, being very honest, I'm not really like one to know all like the cool places to travel
like
to.
the
or
travel
whatever.
bloggers.
Yeah, I'm not that person. But I'll just say something someplace that I saw recently. My friend, her name is Ella. She's a travel blogger, and she recently went to Thailand, and she went to like this really beautiful hotel, like really beautiful. So maybe like like a really fancy, really exotic type trip in Asia. I think I would do
so good.
something like that.
What would be the activity that you'd do there?
Sleep, rest, swim.
I
Like
was gonna say, you strike me as the relax on vacation.
honestly,
type.
like I'm not a traveler.
Yeah.
I'm a vacationer. Like I don't want.
Thank you so much.
That is me.
I
Like
feel so seen.
please, like why am I going on a trip and coming back and I'm still stressed and I'm still tired and I want to rest?
I paid.
I paid to be on that trip. Hello, I'm still tired after the trip.
I'm with you, and I
Girl,
always feel so.
I knew we had something in common. But it's like, do you know?
The girls are just getting
They
to know.
they don't know. You guys don't know. Me and Tobi, we see
go
each
way
other.
back because I don't understand. Every time that we're hearing about trips, I said, you guys are paying to hustle.
Like I'm not walking down the streets trying to find out, oh, what's the
what are the
local
locals
food.
doing?
I want to stay in the hotel. I want to be served. I want to be taken care of.
An all-inclusive
massage.
resort. Like, let the food be downstairs.
Period. When I went for my honeymoon, I know lots of people were asking me, because I went to Mexico, right?
Yeah,
lots of people were asking, oh, like, are you gonna do the, the ATV?
ATV riding.
I'm like, girl, please. The most I did, I went to like a cruise. I went to like an island.
You guys went on a cruise?
Yeah, we did like a cruise that took us to the island.
Okay.
And on that island, you can do different activities.
No
and
problem.
honestly, we just decided to do that like 2 days to we're leaving. We're like, let's not waste this trip. Let's do one thing.
activity.
I don't think that we're like, yeah, we're done. And my husband is like me, please,
I was
let's
just gonna
rest.
say, is he like you too? Because that's the
He
best
is just
feeling.
like me. Like, he wants to sleep, eat. We watch our series, our shows on a soft bed, and all the other stuff that married people do. Like, what else? Please.
Oh,
no.
Guys, you don't understand. And for everybody that is a traveler, skip to another episode. After you are done here, you can go to another girl. I'm sure there's another girl on here.
There are definitely people that I know you're bringing that are more adventurous.
Yes, and I'm happy for that. But as for Oyin Brandy and I, we will be in it. Okay, last one. If you could have dinner with your younger self from high school, what advice would you give her about love and relationships? And what's one thing that you wish she would have known that you've learned since then? So that's like a weirdly worded question.
No, it's perfectly worded, because just at the point that you said, if you could have dinner with yourself from high school, I already knew what I was going to tell my 15, 14-year-old Brandy, and it's just that, just wait. Like, there's no need to rush into anything. I know we want to grow up, we want to age, I know we want to do all these things, we want to do adult stuff, we want to be on our own. Honestly, it's not worth it. And I'm not even talking about adulting, because adulting on its own, take me back to being catered for.
Scam, guys.
Adulting is a scam, but even besides that, especially like relating to relationships, Brandy, you didn't need the attention of men. It doesn't matter. They don't matter. Just wait for the one that God has bestowed onto you. Thank God that in his mercies, he still redirected my steps to that perfect person. But 14-year-old Brandy, you still have your entire life ahead of you. Have fun. Go out, shop, do things with your girls. The boys don't matter right now.
That's so good. That's really good. And also, I feel like that was for somebody that's currently in that season. This is for the girls, guys,
For the girls, absolutely.
That was so good. Well, thank you for playing that.
You're welcome.
For answering those questions. Now you guys know Brandy a little bit more.
Yeah.
Let's talk. Are you ready to go deep?
I'm ready to go to dive in.
No,
but Tobi, be gentle.
No, I promise.
Okay.
It won't be too much. It won't be too much. Okay, we're starting off light. Everybody knows Oyin Brandy. And when I say that you're the internet
Please,
fame,
what is everybody?
Brandy, I think maybe you're not aware of the power you hold. And not even the power you hold, because at the end of the day, it's God that gives us influence as a gift because of the gifts that he's placed on the inside of us. But what you've done and like the brand you've created and the community you've created, it's wider than you think. Let me just put it that way. Genuinely.
Thank you, Jesus.
Yes, shout out to God. But my question is, how did you get started in content creation? I know that's a very general one, but let's cast the net wide and then we'll go
I like it.
Yeah.
How did I get started with content creation? A couple years ago, content creation was not what it is now, right? The first ever video that I made was on YouTube, actually, when they said a decade.
Yeah, I was going to ask the 10 years. Please tell us from back then.
Yes, not like 10 years of consistency. It was just 10 years of just random.
And I remember we had this conversation.
Yeah, complete randomness. But the first ever video that I made was actually like a remake of one of these African parents video. I don't know if you know, like them, Don't Jealous Me.
Yeah.
Now I can't remember all these Vine. Do you know Vine? I can't remember the Vine people anymore, but it was one of those kind of videos, and I posted it on YouTube where I told my cousin, right, to clean the floors, and then I came back to inspect it, and I was like, look at this dot on the floor, and I was like, you didn't clean that. It was like, just very African parent-centric video, but that was maybe 2014. I was in Dubai at the time, and I filmed that. It was just a very funny video.
You lived in Dubai?
No,
Oh, okay,
we were on
okay,
vacation,
okay.
yeah. And then when I came to Canada in 2015, then the likes of Tony Olaye, they started creating. I started watching Jackie I, and I was mainly, YouTube was mainly saturated with beauty content.
Yes.
That type of content. You didn't really see a lot of lifestyle or all of those.
Talking.
Yeah, or talking.
Yeah.
So you know what? I created my first actual YouTube video now was the Nigerian tag. A lot of people were doing like the Nigerian tag or wherever they were from. So they asked like these questions, like
And
what's
you
your
could even find it if you search up like Nigerian tag questions
yeah,
on Google.
exactly.
Yeah.
My Nigerian tag is probably still up there somewhere
I'll
from
link
9
it
years
down
ago.
below.
No, don't link it. Yeah, and we were asking questions like, you know, what's your favorite Nigerian song? What's your favorite Nigerian food? I got it with my friends from high school.
Oh, you did like the big like Nella Rose
yeah,
style.
like Nella Rose style. I think we were about 7.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like 7 girls, and then I had this my friend. He's actually South Sudanese. He was in my school at the time, and I told him to help me record because he had a camera, and he came all the way. He helped. Like it was so nice. I gave it to another friend of mine to help me edit. That time, people were willing to help you because everyone was intrigued that, oh my God, our friend is making a YouTube video, and the video actually did really well. It did well, and then I think that was the start of YouTube for me. I started doing beauty content, even though that's not necessarily what I liked, but that was what was popular. And I was good at makeup as well, so I was like, why not do beauty content? It did pretty well, and I guess Oyin Brandy is who she is today.
Wow.
Yes.
And I knew, because we had this conversation about like when you started, it wasn't what it is now.
It wasn't
and you even
at all.
stepping out into it wasn't, I don't want to say a money grab because I'm very careful. Like, there's nothing wrong with the girls that want to make money from content creation as a career.
For me, I love that you remember that because this is something I constantly say. I'm not in content creation for the money. I'm in content creation because of the voice that God has given to me that I can use to empower women, to build up people, and just to share my story. If there's something about me, I love to share my story.
And it shows. Because the thing with, and that's what I was gonna say about like, there's nothing wrong with no shame to the girls or no shade to the girls that like are doing it as a career path, but there's a difference in when you're doing it as a career as opposed to this is an authentic expression of what God's put inside of you.
Right.
The medium that you found to express that was just content creation.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I just think that that's a really big part. So now that we talked about like how you got started, my next question would be, can you tell the girls, was that always the dream? Because the truth is you wear multiple hats.
Yes, I do.
Content creation is actually probably 1/16
of
the hats that you wear. The ones that you show, maybe like 1/7, 1/6 of the hats that you wear. And you seem to do each one really well. Which one was the dream, and how do they all play a part in each other? Because you're an entrepreneur.
Yes.
You're actually, first of all, you're a pastor. Let's start with that.
First of all, I'm a pastor.
That's the calling.
Yes, that's the calling. You know what? Let me put it this way. They're all the calling, just different expressions of the calling. So I'm a pastor, which is more front-facing. Okay. My content creation is also pretty front-facing, basically sharing my faith through my lifestyle. That's what I do. That's what my content creation is about. Okay. And then I'm an entrepreneur. That is a means to an end.
Okay, fair.
I'm an entrepreneur not because I think I have a very natural, what's the word?
Like business mind?
Yes, okay. I'm just very entrepreneurial. Like from when I was younger, I had a very business savvy mindset. Okay. So I think that's why I'm really good at business, most especially things that I do with my hands. The work of my hands. I think I'm excellent with the work of my hands, and
it shows.
Yes, and like I said, entrepreneurship for me is a means to an end because of where it is that I'm going to. Right? It is not something I hope to do long term the way that I'm doing it now.
Okay.
Right now, I'm still kind of hands-on with my businesses. The plan is to be a business owner that's hands-off. I see. Over time. I don't want to spill too much, but
exclusive.
Yeah, exclusive. Just know my husband and I are working on something, and it's probably for the next 4 or 5 years
Oh, wow.
down the line. Yeah,
Well,
and it's gonna be huge.
when it's time, because that's a huge thing of like when
Yeah.
it's time, that's the time to share it.
Yes.
Okay, so you mentioned all these different, and that's good that you said that it's different expressions of your calling because
Yes.
it's not one over the other.
Yes, it's not one over the other. It's different expressions. Everything works together for the good of Oyin Brandy.
You better catch that. You better catch that. But was there a dream? Like, was there one that you dreamt of? Because you really seem like you actually do them all very well.
I think that I didn't quite have perspective and direction when I started everything. It was really just, okay, I need to have money
Okay,
to
fair.
eat,
Yeah.
to take care of myself.
Yeah.
And I realized, what is it that you can do that can provide for you? So all through university, I used to make wigs, right?
Oh, so
Even
you
though right
started
now,
from back
I started making wigs, doing hair when I was in university.
That makes sense.
Like I used to do all kinds sew-ins, all those things.
Okay.
That doesn't quite fit into where I am right now. So I still sell wigs, but I don't make them anymore.
Okay.
I have people that make them for me now.
Okay,
So can you see how there's growth?
Yes, and evolution.
And evolution,
Yes.
exactly. Right now, I also do makeup as well. I'm a bridal makeup artist. Funny how I'm actually going to the States tomorrow for a bridal job.
Wow.
Yes.
Your gifts will make room for you.
Your gift will make room for you. But
Bro.
besides that, I don't think this is something that I'm gonna do for the next, probably like within the next 2-3 years. I will do well at it, and maybe end up opening like a beauty hub type thing. But I don't think that I would have the capacity
I see.
to be
Continue
being
in
the
this.
one actually painting the face.
Yeah,
I don't think I would have the
yeah.
capacity. What God is calling me to, which I know very well, is to help women find purpose, whatever that looks like. So through my content creation I think is something that is here to stay, not to make money, but just sharing my story forever. But also curating events and opportunities for women to come together, fellowship together, find purpose, be renewed, be poured into. I think that's what Oyin Brandy's calling expressions is leading to. Exactly.
No, that's so good. I'm really glad that you brought that up. Now, the reason why I asked the question is because there's a lot of girls, sometimes I've like seen them like under my comments, even under your comments too, because I be reading because I'm like, I want to know, like, I feel like one calling that God has called me to is like understanding and being able to see the heart of his girls. Because sometimes it's very easy, and I thought it was something that all of us did. It's very easy to overlook what somebody is really saying
No,
and
you're
how
good
they're
at that.
really feeling.
Somebody is just gonna hear come, and she's gonna make a whole video about come. Coming into the presence of the Most High King.
You know, there's a lot of things that we can unpack that. We can unpack that. But I've seen and heard from conversations a lot of girls that are like, first of all, there's a lot to give up when it comes to your calling. And you even talked about that when you were speaking to like your younger self and being like, the sacrifice will be or your future self, that the sacrifice will be worth it.
Yes.
But when you have a dream and then the expression of your calling now shows up in reality, how do you piece the two together? And that's why I asked, was this always your dream? Because we can have a dream when we're younger and etc, but then when we now get older and we're like, okay, I'm feeling that this is the calling, but then also necessity too. I need to pay bills. I need to make ends meet.
Exactly.
And then you're now having to, you know, kind of like struggle with the expression of what that looks like in real life. What has that been like for you?
Like you said, Tobi, right now, I'm still in the building phase, building everything that God has called me to do. But through the building phase, I'm also in a season of being refined. I'm also in a season where things are not necessarily as easy. I know you guys see me on social media, and you see a lot of creators on social media, but you don't actually know the story or what is going on behind. This is not the moment to share my testimony, but I will eventually. I feel like because of where I'm at right now, I have a child, I'm a mother, to provide for that child. We need to provide for her. She needs to eat. She didn't ask to be born. We have to take care of her.
Bro.
We do. And because of that, I still have to do things that, like I said, are a means to an end. The goal is not to do it forever. And you have to be comfortable in seasons where you are doing things that you don't necessarily want to do long term, but you have to do right now in order to make ends meet. You have to be okay with that. Don't let that overwhelm you. Don't let that make you put you down. And I'm even talking to myself right now because I also had a very terrible morning before I came here. Glory to God for giving me joy. You have to be okay with your current season. Don't try to rush your seasons. Like I said, I'm in a state of being refined. God is dipping me back, pulling me out, looking at me, dipping me back, pulling me out, looking at me until he's seeing his reflection in me, until I look just like him. And today he even showed me a part of myself that doesn't quite look like him yet. And for where he's taking me to, that refining has to happen.
Necessary.
It's necessary. So maybe I don't have the abundance that I hope for. It's gonna come, but I have to be ready for it. My character has to be built for it. Because if I have all that I need right now, maybe I'm not as good as I think. Maybe we're all not as good as we think.
And character is a word that I just feel like is really lost in our generation.
In our generation,
like who is talking about that genuinely? Like it's a thing of, well, this is what I want and I'm going to get it. But are you the person that you need to be? Have you become the person that you need to be for that? But I feel like that perspective that you said makes it maybe not easier. And I'm sorry that you had such a rough morning, by the way.
It's okay, please.
But thank you for still being here and sharing with the girls, also from a place of authenticity, as we said. But that perspective makes it gives purpose to the process. So when you're like, okay, but this is the dream I had, and then this is the calling and like how it's manifesting in this season, knowing that there's actually a reason for this, I feel like makes it easier. Do you know the reason why I, like, first of all, love you in person, but like love what you've created online? And I know we mentioned authenticity already, but I think is the fact that you, how do I say this correctly? What you show online is genuine real life. Like it's not, it's one thing to be authentic and be like, you know, guys, like this is what I'm feeling today, but you also show I can be a girl, you know, like for the girls, like you're cute, your face is beat, you're looking good down, but then you're also talking about like, there's going to be seasons of your life that God is going to be doing a working in you. It's not always going to be, for lack of a better word, sexy and like very nice looking. I can look put together and I can look great, but real life, because one reason why I started sharing, you know, like on Instagram and TikTok, messages for the girls and then now brought it over to here is because I felt like I'm going on the internet, and yes, people aren't going on the internet to have their lives changed. Sometimes you're just going to escape reality. You're just going to scroll until you need to do the next thing. But people are having like real life problems.
Yes,
like,
you're right.
As they're on that social media app, their life hasn't stopped. Do you know what I mean? Like the person that they need to send that text to, have that hard conversation with, you know, do something, break up with their toxic relationship. Let's be honest, like it's all happening as they're on the app. So my calling, or I guess what God, the perspective God gave me was, as they're on that app, you at least let it be that when they come onto a few girls' pages, what they see is something that they can take when that app closes and actually apply to their real life.
That's
this
so
is that.
That's so
because
good.
It's one thing to do makeup, you need to look good. That's also empowering women, don't get me wrong. I know how I feel when my makeup hits and when it bangs, but it's also another thing to know what to think, how to restructure your mind, the perspective to have on a situation, not just, okay, at least I look good, but I'm sad. At least I look good, but I don't have perspective on the season I'm in. So I think that you sharing being in a plowing season and being honest about what that actually looks like is going to help a lot of people.
I hope it does.
And also make them feel a
You're
little
not alone.
Thank you.
You're not alone. You're not alone. God is not done with you. There's so much that he wants to do in and through you. Just stay true to him. Stay true to the word. I know the world seems attractive. I know that it seems nice. I know you feel like there's so many other things you could be doing and your life will make more sense. Just stay with God. If he says that the hairs on your head are numbered, just think about that. He really cares. If it matters to you, it matters to him.
Oh, that's good. Hold on to that one line. That's good. Now, I'm glad that you brought up the world and, you know, the things that seem enticing. You became a pastor recently.
Yes.
Mind you, you're also very young. you're very young and you're a baby girl. Like, I don't know what other word to use. Like, when I look at Oyin Brandy, I'm not thinking like, oh, yes, you are somebody's mom, and that's the biggest calling,
Yes.
as I would imagine. But like, you're a babe,
Yeah.
but you're a
We thank God.
pastor. But you're a pastor, and like, thank God for people like Sarah Jakes Roberts that are coming up, and we're seeing that fashion and beauty and all these things don't need to be left out of that conversation.
Right.
But what did that feel like? Did you always feel called to being a pastor, and what does that feel like dealing with the pressures that come from that and kind of merging who you are with who you've been called to be?
First of all, did I always feel called to be a pastor? No, absolutely not.
Thank you for keeping it real with us.
I think it's something that came as a result of growth, me growing. Obviously, I gave my life to Christ all over again. I think this was 2018, where I genuinely started building a real relationship with God.
Okay.
And by, say, 2020, I knew what it is that God would have me do, the direction that, let's say 2019, 2020, the direction that He was taking me towards. I remember even back then, I had received a prophecy from someone that I trust, and he was like, you're going to be a mother to many. But at the time, I didn't understand, because I wasn't this Oyin Brandy. Let me tell you guys, 3 years ago, Oyin Brandy, as you see her now, did not exist.
Wow.
Yeah. I wasn't this
We're gonna
Oyin Brandy.
unpack that later.
I wasn't this Oyin Brandy. I was just my regular self, Oyin Brandy, Oyede Brandy, regular schmegula. And
So 1.0.
1.0.
Yeah.
Yes. And when he said, you're going to be mother to many, I didn't understand it, but now I don't think I've quite hit it yet, but I can see it unfolding before my eyes. And that, okay, let's now track back and go back to like pastoring. Pastoring for me came out of relationship with God.
Okay.
Telling us that this is this. I don't think necessarily that we're going to be pastoring the way we are now forever. Right now, we actually pastor like a church on campus, a campus church. I don't know if that will be the same 5 years, 7 years from now.
Where will it evolve to?
Yes, exactly. But I know that we would still be grounded in God in any way that He wants to express it through us, whether that is pastoring the church or not. Now, the pressures of pastoring. I think the most pressure that I feel is not even, my life was never, I was never like in the world, like want to go clubbing or, I'm not even someone that likes music. So I feel like that's one thing that people struggle a lot with, like music.
True.
I'm someone that even likes music, so it was not, like I didn't feel like I had to drop many things.
Yes, okay.
The main things that I had to drop were more character flaws that God has to help me with, still helping me with. Discipline. Pastoring will force you to be disciplined, and also being a burden bearer, carrying other people's burdens. One thing about pastoring that a lot of people don't see, and is actually going on the pulpit and preaching is like 1/10 of what it is to actually be a pastor. But you see that pastoral care, people needing you, people genuinely have, like, it's almost like their faith is dependent on yours, even though you have to still always tell them, see, look at me as I look at Christ.
Yes,
It's Jesus you should be focused on. I'm no one. I'm no one. But people genuinely need you. They genuinely,
because God is using you. You're the hands and feet of Christ on the earth.
When they don't know how to navigate life, they call you. But imagine if you are not already in the Word. Imagine you are not already praying. You're not already filling up yourself with godly things. What are you pouring into other people? And this is what God has constantly been telling my husband over and over again. You cannot be mediocre with your walk with God, because lives are dependent on you. And sadly, the Bible even talks about how pastors and people that are called into the fivefold ministry, you're gonna be ranked, they're gonna be rated more strictly. Because people's lives were dependent on yours. I do not want to be the reason for someone missing out on the many things that God has for them. Hence, the pressure is getting worse.
Yeah, no,
It's worse.
yeah.
But it also helps my own faith.
100%.
It also helps me.
100%.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I hope that, I continue to be a good pastor.
Amen.
I think most
Amen.
importantly for me, it's not even being seen by the world, but being seen by God. Like, God, holding on to Him.
Yeah.
Me and God are like bound together because I have no one else.
Yeah, like where else will I go?
Where else would I go? Where else would I go?
You have the words of wisdom. No, that's so good. Do you think that, oh, well, I honestly can't imagine. And I think even outside of pastoring, and this is not because the office of being a pastor is very important and very distinct. And I'm going to ask a question about, do you think that we need a redefinition of the word pastor just because of the bad rep that it's gotten? But even before that, when you mentioned that there's lives attached to you, so there's a seriousness that comes with that. Sometimes I feel like Christians need to hear that even before, or if you are never a pastor, there's actually lives attached to your calling, and there's lives dependent on your obedience in whatever expression that looks like, because of what you said, that it's many calling, like all of those things where
regardless of you being in the office of a pastor, playing the role of a pastor. Maybe you're not even called to the fivefold ministry. Maybe you're not an evangelist, you're not an apostle, all those things. There's still lives of people that are dependent on your obedience. There's still lives of people that are dependent on your obedience. But God, the mysteries of God is so infinite that even if you are not obedient, God will raise other people to help His person, because He would sometimes have to bypass you to reach other people, especially if you have chosen to live in disobedience. I hope that would never be our portions in the name of Jesus. I hope that when God comes, He would find you at your duty post. He would find you right where He has kept you. May you not, and the problem we are facing in this generation is that a lot of people are not thriving in their duty post. They want to be in other people's posts. Just imagine God has called you to be, say, a kids ministry teacher, but because you feel like, oh, that's so behind the scenes, I want to be on the stage, I want to be seen, and you decide to like go into maybe the worship team. Let's say you can even sing. On the final day, when God comes, will He find you where He kept you?
I just got chills all over my body. Brandy, that was needed. I think I needed to hear that too. And maybe not even just in the capacity of like serving in church, because that one, like, people can, when you're in a good community, they can usually catch it. Like, girl, go sit down. If you're under good covering, honestly, like, you're not going to stand on
your
that
pastor
stage.
Would not let you.
He's like,
go
dude, that down. Altar is actually sacred. Please go to the sanitation team. Actually, is where, no, genuinely, like, if you want to see behind the scenes, sanitation team. But even just in other aspects too, where God is like, this is not about you. This is about the lives attached to you, but He wants to use us, and we get to be a part of it. Now, the other question that I was going to ask was, pastoring, do you think it needs a redefinition? Because for some people, they've had great experiences. I love my pastors. I love being under authority, having people that I can go to, all of those good things. But also, I've interacted with Christians that grew up in the church, and their understanding of pastoring is so bad. And, because of bad experiences, like traumatic experiences with the church and etc. What do you think
I think the Bible
that?
is very clear on, the responsibilities of people in ministry. The Bible is actually very clear. But what we need to remember is that men and women of God are first still men and women.
That's good.
You're dealing with real people just like yourself, and this is not to excuse any form of church hurts. Like, people have actually been hurt by the church deeply. This is just to say that maybe it's not a redefinition that we need. Maybe what we need is that everybody just leave the attention and the applause of others and just focus on God. Just focus on God. And maybe that's a redefinition, right? Maybe that's a redefinition in itself. Maybe just stop chasing after, and I'm speaking to anyone that is looking to go into ministry. You need to hide yourself in God. Only
Yeah.
God has the capacity of revealing you. If you force yourself to be revealed, you would not last on the scene. Allow God reveal you. And this is the problem that we are having in this generation. We do not have people that are discipled into pastoring. Like, you're not being discipled into ministry in general.
Yeah.
And I'm not, when I talk about ministry, I'm not even talking within the confines of the church.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
you being a doctor, you being a teacher, that's
Yeah.
ministry.
Come on.
People are not being discipled into ministry. People are coming into it by way of, I have this revelation.
Yes.
But your
Or I want to.
revelation is not enough. It is not enough. Anything that violates the word of God is not God. Wow. So if you're doing things that you know that God is not approving of,
My dear.
yeah, you should
No,
go
that's
back.
good.
Yeah.
Now, moving slightly away from even though all of this actually
Yes.
still ties in, but you mentioned that you got a word over you that you were going to mother many.
Yes.
However, it started, well, I don't know which one came first. I think you were a pastor before Tori came on the scene.
Yes.
But you became a mother at a very young age.
Yes.
What has that looked like? And I guess like you had a word about it before, but what did that process of mothering and also mothering in at such a young age?
Okay, Tobi, I'm going to talk to you as a
Yeah.
sister. I'm not going to make this sound nice.
Yeah.
Be ready before you have a child. Like, don't let anyone pressure you. Don't let anyone tell you, even your parents, don't let them say, and girls, you're listening, don't let anyone say, don't worry, we'll take care of them for you. It's a lie. It's you and your husband and your child, baby. Mothering has been difficult for me because it's one of those things that really tests you.
Wow.
Like this morning, right? I had to do my makeup. I had some other content I wanted to get done beforehand.
Yeah.
But then how can you do anything when your child is screaming at you? They're fed, they're changed, they just want you to carry them. So I feel like you would not understand, or we do not appreciate the sacrifices that our moms made until we become moms ourselves.
Girl.
And now I don't understand how people have 4, 5, 6 children. I know that it's not for me. I know that it's not for me. Mothering will humble you. Mothering will teach you patience.
Jesus.
I realize that maybe I'm not a very patient person. Maybe I'm not a very patient
that is
person.
one of my biggest fears is what that can uncover in
Yes.
Because it's so easy, and I'm so sorry to interrupt you, it's so easy to look at your mom and be like, well, why didn't you do this, and why didn't you do that? And
Don't. I promise you, your moms are doing their best. Nobody teaches you how to be a parent.
Oh, wow.
You go into it head first.
I felt that one.
Moms are really doing their best, and I know I come from like a Nigerian background, and we see a lot of our moms having sacrificed their careers, having sacrificed so much in order to train you up, and you might look at them and judge them. Why didn't you work? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that?
You know, be the go-getter woman.
Why you not a go-getter woman? Why you not a career woman? To be all of that and still care for you, nurture you, is almost impossible. Except you actually are able to outsource your parenting. If you want to outsource your parenting, that's fine. But if you want to be hands-on, it's not easy. They need you. Like, especially in the stage that my daughter is in right now. My daughter is just 7 months. She physically needs me. And I want to just say something to moms that are listening right now. And Tobi, you're going to be a mom soon. Not soon, but like when you choose, go easy on yourself. Go easy on yourself. God understands the state and the stage that you're in. God resonates with exactly what you're going through because He is your mother and your father. He understands. And also give grace to your parents. They're doing the best that they know how. They're also learning. This is also their first life. They're living through their own life too. So
it's so crazy that you said that, because I heard that 3 years ago, and I think that was the beginning of like the best part of my relationship with my mom ever. That exact line. And so like you saying that, I'm like, oh, get it together, because that's it makes a difference. Like if you allow that to sink in, it makes a difference. I was on Twitter and I was seeing all these comments about like, I think a lot of people have mother wounds. You know, people talk about like daddy issues and etc. But mother wounds is so deep. And the thing that you said of like, why weren't you the dreamer and the go-getter and the etc. And just many things. And I was reading and I was like, I need to like, somebody needs to speak to them. Maybe me, maybe us, maybe the other guests that'll be on the show, but like there really seems to be a bit of an epidemic in the grace that isn't being given to mothers until people now become mothers. But I don't think we should wait until we get
You shouldn't
there.
wait, and that's why we're telling you now. Give grace to your mothers, give grace to your parents. Give grace to them.
Yeah.
They were probably, maybe they were tough, they were frustrated too.
Oof.
And they still had to be there for you. Imagine going through all whatever it is that you're going through right now. You cannot pay rent, you cannot do this, you cannot do that. But then you have a child that actually needs you. Give grace to them.
That's enough said. If the episode ended there, that would be but thankfully it's not.
Okay.
This is the last question, just to know, because I feel like we went
Are we nearly
deep.
there? Nearly there?
Yeah, no, you got me in there. So this is a lighter one before we take a dilemma question. But what does a day in the life of Oyin Brandy look like in this season?
Day in the life, honestly, I wake up. By the time I wake up, my daughter is already in my bed.
Got it.
She's flying into my bed now. Olu has to work. I get up, I go upstairs, do my prayer, do my Bible study, take care of Tori, film if I can, edit, post, do like pastoral care duties, work on some finance stuff. Honestly, my life is very routine at this time, and I'm okay with it.
Okay.
I'm okay with it being routine at this time. Yeah, honestly, nothing too exciting is happening, but it's where I'm at, and that's okay.
And that seems to be a theme because you keep saying that, like there seems to be such an understanding of seasons.
Yeah, I feel like I have come to terms with, or I'm still coming to terms with it, the season that I'm in at this time. I know where I'm at, and I'm okay with it, and I will thrive in it by the grace of God. Amen.
You will. Yeah. That was so good.
Thank you.
You're so good at this.
Oh, please, Tobi.
Okay. So now that we've, unpacked a lot and you shared so much, and thank you for your vulnerability. It's a very big honor and a very big deal. Now let's unpack some other people's vulnerability.
Okay.
We've shared. Now let's mind somebody else's business.
All right.
How about that?
Let's do that.
Okay. So there's two questions here. And some of these are from DMs that people have sent me.
Okay.
But, I felt like the questions that I picked are questions that I felt you were best suited to answer.
All right,
even better than I could provide an answer for. Some of them are from comments, a combination of. This girl says, I feel very called to this content creation life. I like how you said that. But how do you guys have the confidence to post? And how do you always have something to talk about with 2 question marks? So you can tell she's really feeling that.
If you want to do content creation the way that we do it, where it's more than,
Content.
It's more than just posting, and it's now almost a lifestyle, almost a calling.
It's actually influence.
Yeah.
Because there's a bit of a difference. Let's be honest.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. You have to plan. This is answering the second question, but you know what? Let me answer the first one. How do we feel confident to post? That's basically what content creation is, right? You know what? I've also seen people that do content creation without showing their face. If that's
faceless accounts.
Exactly, faceless accounts. If that's what you're about. If the issue is you don't want to show your face, some people also do they just write stuff. They do there are different ways to do content.
Different mediums and expressions.
Exactly. It doesn't always have to be very much like front facing like we are. But if it's front facing content you want to do, first of all, why are you not confident? I don't want to therapize you right now, but why are you not confident?
Ask serious questions.
What is it that is holding you back?
Yeah.
I think that would be the first thing you need to attack first before going into content creation. Because you cannot just gather confidence for one post. You need to be okay with continually putting out those posts.
Until the 1,000th post even.
Exactly. So the question is, who told you what is making you hold yourself back?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
do it. Just post.
Honestly.
Just forget what anyone is gonna say. Don't care about anyone.
You
Just
can't.
put it out
You
there.
can't afford
Especially if you're
to.
putting something of value out.
No idea.
Please put it out there. We want to hear you. You know what? I want to see you. I want to hear you.
Yeah.
Also, you have to plan. You cannot just you have to plan.
Yeah.
Find what I like to do is find other people that do something similar as you. What are they talking about? Talk about parallels of that. Talk about
Well, that's good.
Also, I do lifestyle, so I think it's easier for me because I'm showing you my life. It's my life. I'm living. As long as I'm alive, there's a life to show. There's something to post about, right? So also depending on the kind of content that you want to do.
Yeah.
Sometimes some people do like very serious, like planning, like you have to script.
Content calendar.
Yeah, content calendar. You have to script your stuff. You just find what works for you, and it would help. Yeah.
I also think that something you mentioned, your why.
Your why.
Is really important.
Why do you want to do content creation?
Because like everything that you said, and thank you for giving practical breakdown of how we actually have something to talk about, because planning is involved. And sometimes, like even with you living life, you have to decide what do I actually want to share in this life that I'm living.
Yeah.
But if your why is strong enough, my love, you will find the confidence.
Yes.
To be honest, even on the days that the confidence isn't there, because you have something deeper driving you, you will put on the camera.
Right.
I think that's honestly what it is. Because sometimes people are wanting to create content because it looks fun.
Yeah.
But like we just talked about, sometimes you'll be creating the content and like life behind the scenes. And not that you're lying, but like life isn't giving everything, but you're showing up because there's something greater than just your feelings driving you. So I would say ask yourself your why. Everything that Brandy said, but also ask yourself your why. Because low key, let me not say that. I was just gonna say sometimes content isn't for everyone. And that's the truth. I feel like
sometimes it's not for everyone.
Your calling isn't going to look the same. You may like it and admire it, but it may not be the calling for you. So let's also like normalize that. But if it is, like you said, you're gonna have to get that confidence. And why? Who told you can't?
Exactly. Who told you can't do it?
Yeah. One thing that I remember, and this is, I'll ask the next question in a second, but I remember when we went out to HSC
HSC Gourmet.
HSC Gourmet by whichever one. Whatever. In Lagos. And when you walked in and you were recording, and I asked you, I was like, how are you? I think I even asked you, how were you so confident to record? And you said, first of all, the people around you, are they paying you? No, I remember you said, how are they paying you? And second of all, when you blow, and obviously, like if you're not Nigerian, when you blow means when it's successful. You know, when you get there. Yes, when you get there, they're not going to. How did you say? This whole thing of like, oh, I'm worried about posting isn't going to matter.
It won't matter.
Like they're actually going to be looking at you and being like, okay, I now want to.
Exactly.
Do it. But you have to have the deeper push.
You have to get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Get out of your head. Right, that's
record it. And that gave me so much confidence. Like even David will always remember me coming back, and like I was telling him over the phone because he wasn't in Lagos. I was like, babe, I'm never gonna be shy again.
And look at you now, Tobi Naomi. Period.
Shout out to Oyin Brandy for being a part of my story.
Please.
No, that was really huge. Okay, next question. Yes. This girl said you work at, or it could be a guy. Most of these accounts were faceless accounts. You work in marketing, you do content creation, you run a clothing business, and you're getting married. You're living my dream life. Oh.
Okay.
Okay. Let's show you everything, and then we can now start comparing if it's your dream life, but that's okay. How does one get started in chasing this type of dream in all these different facets?
Stay true to who you are. What has God called you to do? And I'm always going to refer back to God because He's our creator, right? What is it that God has called you to do? I know that our lives may seem nice and looks good, but that's because we're walking in purpose. We're living the life that God has set out for us. What has God set out for you? And it's in that you will thrive. You will not thrive living Tobi Naomi's life. You will not thrive living Oyin Brandy's life. You will thrive living your own life. So what is it that God has said you should do? If you don't know, then start from building a firm relationship with Him, because that is the firm foundation that you need. And from that, different things will burst open. It's like an envelope. Once you open it, there's different things inside of it that is for you. And I promise you, it will be way better than the lives that you think we're living now. Live your own life. And this is something I tell people all the time. Don't compare yourself to other people, because what comparison does is that it steals your joy. It steals your joy. It steals your purpose. Stay and slay in your own lane.
I like that you also said slay. I know that we use that word as slay, you know, like you're doing the thing, but also sometimes slaying is like do the hard work of being you.
Yeah.
No, because let's be honest about it. You shared it, my story, maybe another day, but the things that have had to happen for me to be able to show up. Like sometimes people are like, oh, how do you have this advice to give? Because that's a lot of like my content. I'm like, my dear, do you think I learned it off of a tree? These things were from lived experiences. So when I'm talking about being comfortable with being sensitive, that came from me being extremely uncomfortable with being sensitive, or talking about loving your partner. That came from me messing up in loving my partner. All of these things came from staying and slaying the good one, but also the hard work.
That's
where
so
it
good.
says, I will trust in him, yet he, or if he slays, what's the verse?
What
Pastor
verse?
Brandy, help me. Still, if he slay me, yet still should I trust in him.
Yeah, you'll stay with God. You will
Stay with
trust
God
in
even
him.
in the slaying process.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to do that. So it's stay and slay in your lane, but also stay through the slaying process too.
Yes, that's so good.
Yeah, because I think comparison steals purpose. It steals joy, and everybody knows that quote, but it also steals purpose because there's something that was put on the inside of you that, like you said, lives are attached to.
Yes.
Now imagine if you were now trying to live
Someone else's
Perry's
life.
life or somebody.
Right.
And then we now didn't get what you've given to us. And I think I'm just gonna take this as a moment to give you your flowers, but what you've done, and I don't know why I'm getting emotional. Hold on.
Baby.
No, I don't think you know what you saying yes, specifically in the sphere of influence that you're in, has done for many people and done for me. Because us meeting and me telling that cute little story of, you know, you recording, it may have seemed like a small moment, but that changed a lot of things for me. Seeing you show up on TikTok, on Instagram, seeing you show up past maybe when followers weren't making sense, even though to me it was always big. It was always big to me, but then seeing where you've gone to and then being like, if she started from there, how much farther is she going to go? Your yes has done a lot for me and for many other people.
Thank you, Tobi.
Yeah, so
I really
please don't
appreciate
stop.
you.
You're fantastic.
Thank
Your
you.
authenticity is fantastic.
Thank
you
you
showing
so
up
much.
as you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
and we love you and we're behind you. We're behind you, especially when you stepped into pastorhood, if that's a word, God forgive me.
Pastoring?
Pastoring, I said pastorhood.
It's okay, please. It works.
That just sounded
It works.
so wrong.
It works.
But that moment was big for a lot of people, and we're backing you. Yeah, you have a community that stands behind you full force. Yeah,
Don't
please
make me
don't
cry.
No, please don't. I held back. If I could hold back, we can do this
I love
together.
you so much.
I love
It was
you.
so nice being here.
Thank you. And thank you for doing this
Of
for
course,
the girls.
for the girls.
From before this ever existed, you've been doing it for the girls. So shout out to you.
Thank you so much, Tobi. Thank you. Aw,
Love you.
Love you.
Well, guys, as we've just sat here and poured out our hearts to each other, but also to you, I hope that this has meant something. I hope you've, like I said at the beginning, left feeling a little bit wiser, seen and heard, and knowing that you're not alone. This life thing, we're all doing it. We're all walking through it, and we can all learn from each other and be a part of each other's stories. This is YouTube or Spotify, wherever you're listening on. There's things like, you know, all these metrics, they matter for something. The fact that you're here, it matters enough to me. But if you could like the video, like the broadcast, share it with somebody you think will need it or could use it in their past, their present, or their future. And subscribe for more. I can't wait to see you on the next episode of For the Girls. Bye. Bye. Y'all go to Oyin Brandy's channel, Instagram, TikTok, and say thank you so much for sharing with the girls. Please, we have a good character. We have good character on this show. So please go and do the needful. Thank you.
Love you.
I'll see you guys later. Bye.